Hey guys, it's Monday, December 30th, and this is the final episode of the College Football Betting Show for 2019. We will be back next year, but that'll be after a lot of tanning in the summertime. Teddy Covers and Dave Cokin joining us. Really excited to have you guys. You know, the show has done really well this year. It was the first time we ever did it, and the comments have been outstanding except for one show. And we really appreciate you guys watching. Teddy Covers, Dave Cokin, what's up, brother? Teddy, big smile on your face. Regale us.
I was laughing at the one show.
We know what that was.
Yeah, I know very well when that. Although I gotta say, we got more comments. At least I got more comments on that show than any other show we did all year. So I think people like it when we hate each other. Although that was probably a difficult show to watch.
Yeah, but set the record straight, Teddy. You love me.
Not publicly.
Dave loves me publicly, but maybe not privately. I think it's in reverse.
Yeah. I love publicly. You are a very easy target to make fun of, Prez, and I appreciate your good spirit with much of that. Privately, you're a good guy.
Thanks, buddy.
How was your boxing week or boxing day or whatever they?
Oh, well, it's not about my boxing day, Dave. It's about your boxing day. I want to just shout out to all our listeners. Dave Cokin, and Teddy, this is with no disrespect and a whole lot of love. Dave Cokin made a shit ton of those $9.99 sales, including one yesterday again, Dave. So congratulations, man. You've got a lot of customers playing you for the next year, and a real smart choice by them because, honestly, I can't remember you. I mean, for sure in 40, 50 years, you've had a losing year, but it's not often.
No, since joining WagerTalk, I don't have the exact numbers, but I joined in, it was late 2017. So for 2018 and 19 combined, just playing every play I've given out, the bankroll increase is about 130% net. That's pretty good.
Yeah, to give everyone perspective, if you get 10% a year buying mutual funds or stocks or whatever, 10% a year, you're doubling every 6 years. With Dave Cokin, you're doubling every one. But yeah. Your Boxing Day went really well. My Boxing Day went well. I bought new headphones. You can't see them, but I have like the Sony noise cancellation, shut the hell up on an airplane headphones. And
I have those for my radio. Unfortunately, I dropped them on the floor and damaged the coil. So looks like I'll be getting another set.
Teddy, that's a large mug. Is it coffee? Yeah.
It's tea. I'm a tea drinker. Tea with a splash.
What kind? Nobody cares.
Correct.
Well, let's get into it, boys.
Okay. We got 15
bowl games. We're going to talk about a couple, and then we're going to do a promotion and so on and so forth. We've got some great promotions coming up on the show. We're not going to look at any of the Monday games, guys. So let's start right off the bat with Arizona State -4.5 against Florida State with a total of 54. Teddy, I'll go to you first. What do you like in this one?
I don't like anything in this game. I'm not close to making a bet in this game. I think Arizona State merits the favorites role. I think the Herm Edwards squad. And again, defensively, this team has been stout. Offensively, they're hit and miss. And when you have a team, an underachieving team like Florida State in their bowl game, and they're catching points, you can understand why the markets haven't been infatuated with the Sun Devils. I'll just put it that way. Because you grade out the personnel here, you can make a strong case for Florida State plus. All that said, I believe in Arizona State's defense. And I like the concept of Edwards with extra time to repair. Slightest of lean to the favorites here, but nothing that I'm getting in the way.
Dave Cokin?
Arizona State, Benjamin not playing is significant. But I'm not hearing good things about Florida State's prep for the game.
Nope.
And that's one big key in bowl games is I don't want a team that I'm getting negative reports on. I'm not going to play it. I think Arizona State's missing I think their most important guy offensively, and I don't want to lay points, but I don't want Florida State here.
Guys, last college football betting show we did last week, we looked at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today's college football games, and we got a lot of slack for not having opinions or enough opinions. Screw you people who think that a pass is not an opinion. Dave, do you want to add to that?
Well, what do you want me to do? Make up a play?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point.
I mean, if I'm not betting the game and don't even have an opinion on it, what do you want me to do? I mean, my number in the game is Arizona State 3.
So, Dave, from here on in, Dave, I would like you to preface, if you don't like a game, I want you to preface it with you're making this up and then give out a pick.
No, I'm not going to do that either, so.
Navy minus 2.5 versus Kansas State. 52.5 is the total. Dave, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, boy, these military schools are so tough in these bowl games. They're very well prepared. And, of course, Navy's going to roll out the triple option. And Kansas State will have to figure out a way to defend it. I think Kansas State might be able to do that. It's really close on my numbers. So, ultimately, and I do have several games I like, and we will talk about those. I think I'm going to end up on the sidelines this one just because of the fact that I really don't like going against these military teams. They're just too well prepared. But Kansas State, I think, has the speed on defense so that if they playing the option is all about, it's assignment defense, okay? You have to maintain your assignments and be disciplined and be somewhat fast. And Kansas State does have those elements. So if I had to play it, I think maybe I'd lean dog, but it's not going to make my card. There are some other plays that I like that we'll get to shortly.
Teddy, any thoughts on this game?
I mean, the issue, I'm involved with the total in this game. You can get the play right now at sportsmemo.com. From a side perspective, look, it's Navy or pass. You're not allowed, there are no rules. There's one rule for college bowl season, and it is a legitimate rule, and every rule is made to be broken, et cetera, et cetera. If you're betting against the service academies in bowl games, you're losing. And it's not a short-term sample. We're talking about better than 70% over the last 20 years. And I think it goes back longer than that. That is too strong of a sample to ignore. And we've seen the defenses that are prepped for Navy. Army knows how to defend Navy. Air Force knows how to defend Navy. Bowl games in recent years, they've had extra time to defend Navy. Last 3 bowl games, Navy's gotten in the 40s. Against Army and Air Force, they got in the 30s. I will not bet against Navy in this game.
You know who else could defend Navy? A landlocked country. Okay. Georgia State versus Wyoming. Before we get into that, let me give out a promo. I'm on a 7-1 NFL run. Went 4-1 yesterday. My only loser was Seattle. So, man, I could have snuck out a 5-0 day. I'm on a 4-1, 5% NFL run as well. And I took $100 off of my NFL playoffs. So for only $119, you can get all my plays right through the Super Bowl, which will include a page full of props as well. The promo code is Prez NFL 119. That's Prez NFL 119. Teddy and Dave, a lot of people in the last video said, where's your sense of humor? Prez, you're a funny guy, but these two dudes just don't laugh. Teddy? Okay, then. Wyoming minus 748. Go ahead, buddy.
When you say something funny, I'm happy to laugh. It does happen.
Okay, Wyoming.
Sure. Well, I mean, Wyoming is the ultimate ham and egger team, okay? The Cowboys control the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line is strong. Their defense, their front seven is really stout. Their secondary is strong, too. Offensively, they're as pedestrian as it gets. All right. This is not a team that creates big plays. This is not a team that has playmakers on the outside. This is not a team that has a quarterback who's going to chuck it around downfield. So what Wyoming wants to do is ugly up the game, dominate the line of scrimmage, play defense, and win that way. I lean under in this game for sure, and I'm not convinced in the slightest that the dog here is capable of controlling the line of scrimmage at all, which means that it'd be favorite or pass. But Wyoming's not a team I'm excited about laying points with. Lean favorite, lean over. Neither is strong enough.
Mr. Cokin?
So Wyoming lost Chambers a while back, who was a really dynamic quarterback. Doesn't throw it real well, but great with his legs. Vanderwall has been playing since then, and he is going to transfer, but he is apparently playing in this game, although I don't know how much, because Wyoming, I think, is going to take a look at their other quarterback, who fits their profile. He's a runner. He's kind of a tank. What Teddy said about the line of scrimmage is accurate. Wyoming is a big physical football team. They want to run the ball. And they should be able to run it successfully here because Georgia State doesn't stop the run. I think Wyoming's got the physical. I tend to like teams that run the ball and stop the run anyway, especially if they're dogs, which is not the case here. Obviously, Wyoming's a touchdown favorite, but Wyoming does figure to control the line of scrimmage. And you won't see me against those teams very often, especially in games like this where these teams have been off for a while. So it's more about fundamental strengths, and Wyoming has the edge in that department. I think the Cowboys will win, not going away because they're not an offensive juggernaut by any means, but touchdown or less, I'd look at the Wyoming side.
Texas versus Utah. Dave, I'll go to you first. Utah -7, a total of 54.5. How live are Texas?
Well, I mean, everybody was talking about Herman as a dog, and, you know, the numbers are what they are. But one thing you got to look at in Utah is they've got some NFL guys, some guys who are going to be drafted, and they're all playing, which is always, to me, a good sign for a team going into a bowl game when their guys, they want to play that last college game. That tells me the team is interested. And Utah's got a lot to prove after the failure against Oregon in the Pac-12 title game. I think the Utes get there here. I'm a little concerned with the number, so I don't know that it'll be on my card, but I'm not going to play the dog.
Teddy?
Easy pass for me. I mean, we can call this a disappointment bowl. All right, Texas didn't want to be here. Utah didn't want to be here. And yet they're both facing off against one another, both teams with much higher hopes. Although Utah's crusher came later in the season than Texas's crusher, obviously losing the Pac-12 title game. All that said, I haven't gotten any sense from the Utes that that loss has lingered for this team.
No.
I don't bet against Whittingham and Bowles. What's he, 11-2 straight up, 9-4 ATS. And frankly, he could have gone 10-3 ATS. You shopped around. He's been an excellent bowl coach and gotten his team ready all the time. I don't bet against Herman as a dog. Even this year, it's still cashing. Everyone knows about it. It's still cashing. 15-5 last 20 tries. So easy pass for me. I won't step in front of either one of these teams, and I'm not convinced either one is going to bring their A game, and I'm not convinced either one isn't. It's a hard game.
Dave, Virginia Tech -2.5 versus Kentucky, 46.5 is the total. You passing or you betting on this one?
I don't think I'll be betting it. I don't know. You know, it's tomorrow, so I've still got more work to do on this. If I bet it, it's going to be Kentucky. I just don't know if it's going to make my card. I wish I could get an idea of what Kentucky's going to do from a game plan standpoint, so I'm still trying to check that out. But they're the better team. And Virginia Tech, look, they did some great things down the stretch, obviously, but they did lose to Virginia, and that's such a huge rivalry game for them. They'd won it 15 years in a row. They finally lost it. It was a tough loss. I don't know what's left in the emotional tank. You know, everybody's talking Bud Foster's last game. I think his last game, in a sense, has already taken place. And I just don't know that I want – it's either Kentucky or pass for me. Right now it's a pass. I haven't played it. But it's possible I'll get involved with the Wildcats.
Theodore?
Yeah, I have a slight lean the other way. It's nothing that I'm likely to get to the betting window with either. And I'm not convinced that Kentucky's the better of these two teams. And I like the fact that Virginia Tech is coming off a loss, and they're coming off a loss in which the defense got gashed in the Virginia game. And, you know, I mean, they had a nice stretch run, no question. But the Hokies have been overachievers this year, and I can't say that about Kentucky. So the lean here is towards the favorite, but it's just a lean. It's not anything I expect to get to the betting window with. And at 2.5, I wouldn't come close. If it gets to pick 'em, I'll think about it, but I don't think we're going to see that between now and tomorrow morning.
Guys, you're watching the final college football betting show of the year. A reminder, we will be back next year. Teddy, Dave, and myself. I guess we'll see you in August. I really appreciate all the comments and just the goodwill from everybody watching the show. So does Teddy and Dave, so thank you all a ton. I'm going to change the promotions now, so a quick reminder, you can get all my playoffs right through to the Super Bowl for $119. Use the promo code Prez NFL19. And we have a big NHL offer. Cokin, #1 NHL expert at WagerTalk so far this year. What else is new? He's #1 in college football, #1 in baseball, #1 in hockey. The rest of his hockey season is $695. I have that for you guys. This promo is only up till Friday. You can get the entire NHL season and playoffs right through to June for about $50 a month, $345. Use the promo code Dave, NHL345. And Dave, feel free to tweet that out if you would like.
Okay.
Michigan, Alabama. This has to be the disappointment bowl too in some degree, Teddy. Alabama -7. They just watched Oklahoma get slaughtered, and I bet they were sitting there thinking, man, if only we had one more chance. 58 on the board. Where are we going in this one, Teddy?
I'm not playing the game. I can see a scenario in which the Wolverines take advantage of an Alabama team that's been playing for national titles in recent years, that isn't playing for a national title this year, and get that win that Jim Harbaugh so desperately needs. I don't think the Wolverines are badly outclassed in this contest, especially if Alabama doesn't bring their A game. All that said, Michigan has shown enough vulnerability against the truly elites once again this season that it's hard to get to the window supporting Michigan at that +7 price. And I don't know what Alabama shows up.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the sense that we're going to see the Crimson Tide's A game, and I haven't gotten the sense the Crimson Tide aren't interested. I don't know, and that's the kind of thing I want to know before I make a bet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know, because on paper Alabama wins this by a margin.
Yeah,
but it's just not a big game. It's a bigger game for Michigan, and I generally want to take the team that I think is treating it like the bigger game, but I also want that team to be competitive man for man, and I just don't know that Michigan is. So, and the scary part is, if I know it was, Oklahoma was a terrible matchup against LSU, but you saw what LSU just destroyed them. Big 12 team didn't belong in the field with them. Alabama belonged in the field with LSU.
Yep.
Now I know Tua was, obviously Tua was on the field then, but there is a talent gap here, and it's more than a touchdown. So I can't get enough points to get me on the Michigan here.
Auburn -7, 53 is the total against Minnesota. And Dave, I'll go to you first. Talent gap is in play again here, although Minnesota's had an outstanding year. What do you like?
See, Minnesota is going to be very fired up for this.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure of where Auburn is in this game. And this one, unlike the Michigan-Alabama game where I just couldn't make a case for Michigan, I could at least make a case for Minnesota here. The problem is I don't know if I can make enough of a case with the price where it is. I was hoping for a little more than 7 here. It looks like the market has caught up to Minnesota, and I'm just not getting enough. I mean, this game opened 9.5. I probably should have taken the 9.5. I'm not going to take 7 when I could have taken 9.5. So it's going to leave me on the sidelines for the game. But I'm not. Auburn's offense just doesn't send me. So I think if I had to bet it, I might. Let's see. The mildest of leans to Minnesota.
Teddy.
I mean, Minnesota was a nice moneymaker for me this year. I don't trust them in this game, and stranger things have happened. The Gophers could win it straight up. All right, if Auburn has had their share of offensive issues this year where the offense has not clicked the way they'd hoped to, but the Tigers can, I think, control both sides of the line of scrimmage in this ball game. And we saw what happens to Minnesota when they face a team that can control the defensive line of scrimmage. We saw it in the Wisconsin game, we saw it in the Iowa game, and that's the Gophers' 2 losses this year.
Did you think, though, I want to just throw this at you. I thought the weather really hurt Minnesota in the Wisconsin game.
Definitely, 100%.
So I discounted some of. They were okay in the first half in that game, but then they just got run over in the second half. I discounted some of that because it just blew up their game plan. The quarterback, he could not throw the ball in the snow, and they weren't going to run on Wisconsin. So it was kind of like, wow, this is a bad situation for the Gophers.
And it was, and they're not going to have issues like that here. Right. But Minnesota needs to throw the football down
for sure
to be effective.
Yes.
And whether they're going to have time to do that effectively against the Auburn pass rush is, to me, a major question mark. Enough of a question mark that even given the Fleck's track record in bowl games, Fleck's been great in games like this. He hasn't lost yet with the Gophers. He's been great against non-con, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things to like about Minnesota. This matchup isn't one of them. I can't get to the window with the Gophers here, even though they may well be live. My powering number comes out a good notch too high.
Teddy, can you get to the window on Oregon? -3, playing against Wisconsin. What do you think?
It's Wisconsin.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oregon's +3.
So I've got a play posted for this game right now. And it's the last play that I have up for a game that we're going to talk about. So I'm not going to give this one out on the pod. I apologize.
No problem,
guys.
Dave.
But you can get the Roast Bowl right now at sportsmember.com.
I wish Oregon was -3 in this game because then I'd be all over Wisconsin. Unfortunately, they're not. I think Wisconsin's the better football team, and I think they'll win the game. I'm not convinced I'm going to bet it. I know you want to have opinions on the bigger games, and this is one
Dave,
of them.
it's not.
I just can't come up with one. I think Wisconsin. Well, let me finish. I think Wisconsin is right priced here at about -3.
Yeah, for all of you listeners who watch these shows, a no play is an opinion. Ralph Michaels and I spoke about this on the NFL presidential address. It is better to leave a winner off the table than to put out a loser.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and I'm not a high volume guy. I mean, I just don't play a lot of games.
I get it, brother. I get it. Baylor, Georgia. Teddy, we'll go to you first. Georgia -5, 5.5, 41.5 is the total. Where are you at?
So Georgia was a no-show for their bowl last year in a comparable circumstance. And there's been certainly a lot of talk from the Bulldogs and Kirby Smart and company about not letting that happen again. The markets aren't so convinced of that, though. We've seen nothing but money come in against the Bulldogs, and you can understand why. All right, Baylor's been as feisty and as tough as any team in the country this year. They've been, and both of those adjectives are legitimate. They're feisty and they're tough, and we like dogs that have those two characteristics, meaning they can take a punch and they punch back, and they play for 60 minutes. We've seen that a lot. I am concerned a little bit about all the Matt Rule rumors that we're hearing about his next job. Certainly an attractive candidate in the NFL and the collegiate college coaching circles, and those rumors are never good for any football team. And, of course, Georgia's defense is capable. Baylor offensively, they're okay. They're tough. They grind. They're okay. Georgia's defense can shut this team down, in theory, if Georgia comes to play and brings their A game. The problem, of course, laying points with the Bulldogs is the offense has been so spotty all season. The offense has been hit or miss. Baylor's got a good D, and I'm not convinced that Georgia bounces back from what we saw in the SEC title game. So not one I'm likely to play, Dave. What about you?
So Georgia, if this were the full Georgia team, my number would be about 8. But it's not the full Georgia team. I mean, they have got a bunch of guys sitting out for a variety of reasons. You might be looking at, you could be down both starting tackles, three of their five receivers, one of their running backs, three starters on defense. That's all the indications of a team that doesn't care. Okay, and they're off a terrible performance in a huge game. I mean, they were the number 4 team. They were in the playoffs going into the game against LSU, and they just got their teeth kicked in. I know Baylor's going to show up. I mean, this team plays hard. I think Baylor's going to pull the upset in this game. So yes, this is a play for me. I took Baylor. The number's gone down. I took 6. It was the best that was out there as of yesterday, and I think that's gone now too. It's mostly 5.5. You might even get the 4.5.
There is a 4.5 at the Westgate right now.
I think Baylor's got a very good chance in this game.
Thursday, January 2nd, 2 games: Boston College, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Indiana. Dave, I'll go to you first. Feel free to group them.
Well, Boston College doesn't have A.J. Dillon, and if they fall behind, I don't know how they're going to catch up. I also think Cincinnati might be more interested in the football game. So definite lean to the Bearcats. Hasn't made my card yet, but it could. And the other game, Indiana and Tennessee, I will not be playing. That game I know I'm sitting.
Theodore Huxtable III.
I appreciate the Cosby reference. Thank you. That's a great reference for 2019.
I'm an old man, dude. And yet the youngest on this show.
So I agree very much with Dave's assessment of Cincinnati, Boston College. I am leaning to the Bearcats. I've already missed the best of the number, and the 7s are disappearing, which means that I'm not likely to get there. I'm not going to lay 7.5 with Cincinnati, but I'm not convinced BC shows up. And I'm a Luke Fickell believer, and from all indications, since he's coming to play and since he's A-game, it's sincere pass there for me, 100%. And for Tennessee, Indiana, it's not a game I've got a strong feel on. It's not a game that with teams I've been riding or fading all year. It's I think the Vols A game is better than the Hoosiers A game, but Indiana's made money for their backers, man. They really have. Hard game. I'll pass that one.
Guys, make sure to head over to WagerTalk.com. Use the promo code Dave NHL 345, $345 for the rest of his hockey season. Dave is as good in hockey as he is in baseball and college football. He's the number 1 hockey expert so far this season at WagerTalk. Also coming off an outstanding year last year. You can hear him on Puck Time once a week as well. I know you guys all love your Dave Cokin, so this is a half-price offer, Dave NHL 345, and I'm going to make another scroll change as we get to the back of this show. Dave, I'll go to you first. Ohio minus 7.5 to 8 against Nevada, 58.5 on tap. What do you like?
Nevada's not very good. Not that Ohio is, but there's a little more. I think Solich has some milestones that are in play here for Ohio. They are the better running team, which, again, I always go back to this. I like the better running teams. Nevada's quarterback play is just terrible. They might have the crowd. A little bit of a site advantage with the game in Boise for the Wolfpack. But I think Ohio's going to win the game. Whether it makes my card or not, I don't know. I'm leaning toward the no. But if I do play, it'll be on Ohio.
Teddy?
I want to ask you this, Dave, because of the bowls, my point spread number for this game was as far off as it was for any bowl game. And maybe I had Ohio ranked lower, or maybe I have Nevada ranked higher. But is this right in range of where you had this game power rated in Boise?
14. I had the game 9.5.
All right,
I don't.
It is.
I like the MAC this year. I think this is and they've had a good bowl season. I mean, Central Michigan got destroyed, but they've actually done pretty well in the bowls. This has been a good season for the MAC. The Mountain West,
not so much.
Well, the top of the Mountain West, pretty good. But you can make an argument that Nevada is a team that really shouldn't be in the postseason and only got there because of winning a couple of close games against teams that were even worse than they were. I thought Nevada was a bit of a disappointment this year. Part of that was some injury issues, but I did not think Nevada played as well as I thought they would play. Especially, I know it was a fluke, but they had that win against Purdue to start the season. And it's like, boy, this could be a nice year for this Nevada team. And they did not live up to expectations, in my opinion. That said, and by the way, they lost to UNLV.
So Ohio University wins this year by more than a touchdown. Bowling Green,
not many.
Akron, Rhode Island.
Not exactly an illustrious group.
Yeah, and now they have dominated their bowl games each of the last 2 years, but my numbers say that the Wolfpack are worth a look here, and that's the only way I would play if I get involved.
Well, I'm not really gonna argue against it. It's I don't generally make a play in the Bulls just on power ratings. So even though I give an edge on the power ratings to Ohio, I'm not crazy about laying points with them either. Although it is Nathan Rourke's last game, and he's been a good player for them.
Guys, if you're watching this show before New Year's Eve, we have a 2-day promotion on for Carmine. Carm 999. That's $999 for his entire year of plays. That's half price. It does expire on New Year's Eve. Teddy, talk to me about this South Mississippi Tulane game, Southern Mississippi Tulane game.
Southern Miss. This is
I corrected myself without your help. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you can call it South Alabama.
Oh, just shut up and give me this game.
I got nothing. I mean, honestly, of all the bowl games, this is probably the one that I have the least opinion on. I know I'm not excited about laying a touchdown with a Tulane team that lost 5 out of 6 going into bowl season and probably overachieved early on. I'm not excited about taking anyone from Conference USA. Something Dave and I talked about. It was not a good year for a bad conference. So I have zero opinion on this game. I guess if I had to get involved, I might look to the over, expecting the Green Wave to create some big plays against the Golden Eagles defense, and expecting Southern Miss offensively to do a little bit more than they did down the stretch. But down the stretch, that offense couldn't move the football at all, and that concerns me for the Golden Eagles side. So, not a game I've got a strong.
I really love that both of you guys have the exact same view in your background, and yet you're not next to each other. Amazing. Sorry, Dave. Go on.
Well, neither team's coming in good form. Teddy referenced Tulane's finish to the season, which wasn't good, and Southern Mississippi. They're just an ordinary Conference USA team. I look to play against those teams.
Teddy.
So I guess I would lean Tulane here. And how well will Southern Miss be prepared to face a hybrid option, which they are going to see here. So Tulane is kind of like a semi-Navy, Army, Air Force. They play a lot of option. Don't know that Southern Miss can contain that. And one game I'll reference was the Tulane Army game, where Army knew what they were doing defensively in that game, but they didn't have the athletes. And Tulane they ended up winning fairly comfortably. I think that could be the case here. Southern Miss, I think, might have an idea on how to prep for this team defensively, but I don't know that they've got the athletes on defense. Tulane might eventually get him here.
Teddy, I know you were looking behind you. What do you want to say?
Oh, we don't have the same banner.
Not the same banner, the same view. You can both see the Paris thingy, and anyway, who cares? What do you like in this game?
He already told you he didn't like the game.
Yeah,
thanks for paying
attention. You know what, Dave? 34 minutes into the show, I get a little bit bored listening to Teddy. You can regale me all day long.
And then I'll regale you in this last game.
What do you mean this last game? We're not going to talk about Miami, Ohio?
That's the game we're going to go to.
That ain't the last one. That's just the next one.
Yeah, there's a pretty big game after that.
No, I'm talking about the bowl games.
Okay, so before we get into the Miami, Ohio, UL Lafayette, I would like to point out that if you listen to the NFL presidential address this past week, I gave out the money line play of the year. It was plus 800, and it cashed. I have been telling everybody to bet against New England. I literally bet plus 800. I cashed it. So I ask you, Dave, can we cash Ohio here with the same delicious plus 900 or whatever it is? Miami,
Miami of
Ohio.
Ohio? No. UL Lafayette can name the score in this game.
Okay.
It's a big number, but to me, UL Lafayette's the only side to play in the game. And if I play this game, I'll be laying it. Miami of Ohio just isn't very good defensively, and UL Lafayette can play. I mean, look, you saw some character out of them in the the Sun Belt Championship game against Appalachian State, where they just got destroyed early, and they never stopped in that game, and actually made it a little respectable toward the end. I think there's a big talent gap here, and it's a huge number, but to me, it's Ragin' Cajuns are pass.
Teddy?
I'm very surprised at you, Prez.
Why, baby?
10-1 on that game. You took 8-1.
I did.
And made.
That's all I got. When I made the bet, that's all I got. It dropped even more. It dropped down to 6.5 to 1 at some places.
Really?
Yeah, but
you could. There were.
Dude, I got what I got, man. 8 to 1. And you know what?
Sure, but as someone who comes on this show,
I thought you were proud of me for making the bet.
No, I'm disappointed in you for not getting the best for when you hit a bet like that and Ryan Fitzpatrick does the miracle drive to win you, that you didn't maximize your ROI.
Well, okay, fair enough. I got 8 to 1, and I'd like to apologize to the betting gods out there for not getting 10 to 1. Teddy, what do you like in this
That's
game?
4 units in your pocket that you just.
I agree. I agree. What do you want from me? It was 8 to 1.
The fact that Miami O is plus 400 on the money line, plus 425. They're nowhere near what the Dolphins were. So the markets are saying Miami O is liver to win this game than most 14-point dogs. And of course, their only previous bowl outing under Chuck Martin, they nearly pulled the upset as 14.5 dogs against Mississippi State. Of course, Mississippi State wasn't interested in that game, but they did show that they could do it. And I agree with the fact that the Ragin' Cajuns are the better of these two teams. I agree with the fact that they're going to show up and they're going to have crowd support here, but I still think this number's a notch too high. I'm not going to lay here with the favorite. It'd be dog or pass for me.
Boys, do you want to talk Madison versus North Dakota State, or should we get to the big one? Dave?
I don't follow the FCS.
Then let's move on.
Yeah, you can talk about it all you want, but neither Dave or I can give you any betting opinion whatsoever.
Okay, boys, let's go. Clemson versus LSU. Joe Burrows versus Fabio Lawrence. Fabio Lawrence. That guy's hair is too much to look at. I know, David. Why are we talking about his hair?
Well, no, if you're gonna go with the nickname, go with the right nickname. It's Sunshine.
How is it not Fabio?
Because he's a football player. Remember the Titans? He's Sunshine. That's what they call him.
Oh, there a guy in Remember the Titans with that girly hair? I don't know.
Did you not see that movie?
Like 20 million years ago. Like, come on, dude, I'm old.
Well, apparently your mind is already faded because
I'm supposed to remember.
I remember.
I'm supposed to remember. I think Denzel was in that. Am I wrong? Well, there you go. I remembered something about it.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I read that the actual coach, I think he just
he just died.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of the show, boys. Okay, let's get into it. Joe Burrows. I mean, Teddy, I'll go to you first, dude. We watched a performance on Saturday that was one for the ages. They just could not be stopped at any time in that game. And their defense played pretty good. A very aggressive front. They're now hosting Clemson. Not hosting, but it's -5, there is a 6 on the board and a total of 70. Clemson looked really good for the back half of that football game. They were down fast. They were down fast and early, and their defense shut them down. But that offense is not ticking. I don't know how the hell they could keep up with LSU. Teddy, I'll go to you first.
I will say this. If you're taking Clemson plus the points, there's probably a little bit of correlation with the under.
Well, yeah.
Would you agree, Dave? Yeah. I don't think that Clemson is.
And I'd also say wait. If you like the dog, you got to wait.
No, we're seeing buyback the other way today.
And it'll go back up again.
I agree.
You think
I think
it's going to close.
Yeah, I'm with Dave on this, dude. I mean, there was such, from an eye test perspective, with Joe Schmo betting this game. I mean, you literally watched probably the best performance a quarterback has put down in decades by Joe Burrows, and you watched a Clemson offense that really struggled. I'm with Dave.
You got to give him a singular last name, dude. The Burrow stuff is starting to bug me. Burrow.
Okay, he was so good. He was two Burrows.
No. That's okay.
Teddy, can you talk about this game?
I'm trying to talk about this game. Oklahoma made 0 defensive adjustments, and their defensive game plan was as dumb as any defense that I've ever seen all year. I mean, they made 0 adjustments, and they were getting picked apart, and they had absolutely no answers. Clemson's not Oklahoma defensively, okay? I disagree somewhat with your assessment about how well the Tigers played down the stretch. They had issues in that ball game. In fact, if Ohio State, if the wide receiver doesn't make a ill-advised cut, I think the Buckeyes end up winning that game. So Clemson was lucky to survive. Okay, and the defense did not do what I thought, that last 2-minute drive, Ohio State as live can be. All that said, we saw LSU just play their best game, and Clemson didn't. And in general, in these type of matchups, when you're talking about one team that played perfectly in the semifinals and the other team didn't, it's the team that didn't that has a better game in them. I said before Clemson, Ohio State, that I'll be betting on the winner of that game in the national championship game, and nothing that I saw from that game changed my opinion.
Dave Cokin.
I haven't even done my number on the game yet. So I'll just talk about what took place. Clemson is really fortunate to be playing in this game.
Yep.
They got every break. The targeting penalty was bullshit. Okay? I know that you got to err on the side of safety, but it just wasn't targeting. There was no place else for the guy to put his head, and Lawrence also came in with his helmet. The fumble and touchdown that was taken off the board, Terry McCauley, veteran NFL referee, tweeted that they got the call wrong. And I completely agree. That was a catch. It was a catch, a fumble, and a touchdown. And then you got the last play, what was basically the last play, when you got this whacked out interception because the receiver just cut the wrong way. There was some miscommunication. I thought Ohio State was the better team, and I don't think Ohio State's as good as LSU. So, and I'm not committing myself to this, but I don't see much chance I'm going to be going against LSU in this game. Excuse me. That team is an absolute monster right now. The offense is incredible. And by the way, their best running back, who was not healthy,
he had a pretty good game too.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good game, and he'll be healthier. LSU is just the best team in football right now. It's just a question of whether I want to lay this many points.
He's Dave Cokin, Teddy Covers. That's the end of the college football betting show for 2019. Guys, I can't thank you both enough for giving me your time once a week to do this show. We'll be back next year. I'm already excited about that, mostly because I have to go through the summer to get there. Everyone, thanks so much for watching, for listening, for commenting, for posting, for being part of our community. Dave, we'll see you on Puck Time. Teddy, I don't know when we're going to do another video together, and you know what? Thank you for that. Namaste, brother.
The over. Sharp money's on the over, my friend.
Later, boys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Cheers.